Tell us a little bit about your meditation journey and how that improved your well-being.
Yeah, so when I first started meditation, I had a lot of resistance to it. And I discovered meditation actually through when I discovered yoga about 4 or 5 years ago. And it's been such a profound tool in improving my overall well-being. And by engaging in regular meditation practices, I've experienced significant benefits to the regulation of my nervous system, taking me out of fight or flight and into rest and digest, and fostering really a deeper connection with my body. And it's really helped me shift out of the constant chatter of the mind, as we all as humans experience, and really helped me reduce my anxiety and depression and help me focus better and really connecting to my true inner being and inner self.
Welcome to the Brain Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Patrick Porter. Please join us on our mission to better a billion brains. Enjoy the episode and remember to share it with your family and friends.
Hello, this is Dr. Patrick Porter, and welcome back to the Brain Fitness Podcast. Today we have a very special guest, someone that I was cruising through the internet, and a lot of times I'll find people who are posting about BrainTap, and I found Daria, and she was posting about it, and she's an Integrative Nutrition Health Coach. She's done some psychedelics, she's done public speaking, she's a global community consciousness leader, she's a yoga instructor and a content creator and the founder of Sacred Souls, which resonates with me. So I thought, wow, we need to get you on the Brain Fitness Podcast and share with your experiences, not only with BrainTap, but just what you're doing in the world, because we want to get out there and show people are out there changing the world in a very positive way. So Daria, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me on, Dr. Porter. I'm excited to dive into this conversation.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about this global community of New Earth consciousness leaders, because this is something that we need people to step up and own their power and really train people and not go with the status quo or the fear mongering that's going on out there in the world. Tell me a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah, so I really believe that each and every one of us really gets to come home to our bodies. That's really what I feel like it comes down to, is being a New Earth conscious leader is someone who is tapped in and tuned into their body, that is connected to the land, that is connected to their purpose as well, and sovereign in who they are, and really focused on making an impact on this planet for future generations, to leave this planet a better place for future generations.
That's great. When you talk about self-healers empowering others to transmute their pain into passion, what do you mean by that? What's kind of the underlying motivation there? Because a lot of people, they get pain and then they shut down, right? They don't know what to do. They just stop activating, but you're talking about transmuting their pain into a passion. So maybe share that a little bit.
Definitely. I love this question. So I really feel that the deepest pain that you, the listener, or anyone who has gone through, we can really turn that into our passion and then our purpose. So for example, if I went through a really, really, really painful breakup, I can turn that pain, that mess, into my message and empower other women or men, whomever, to heal through that breakup. So that's really what that means to me.
That's great. Yeah. I commonly say that whatever you're going through right now it's like every person that you read about in a comic book that becomes a superhero has to have that dark night of the soul. And once they conquer whatever that is, they get their superpower. So you're kind of saying the same thing. So once you realize that whatever, and I love what you say, your message, I've heard that said before, and I think that's pretty powerful. So tell us a little bit about your background in helping people, because I know that you're kind of on the fringe as far as what most people would think, because you do mind-body healing and you're into natural medicines. So tell us a little bit about that and what's new for you, because before we got on the line, you're telling me a little bit about a liver cleanse and a detox. So tell me a little bit about what's going on with that.
Yeah, so my background, I studied biomedical sciences, and then I got a sales certificate as well. And then I started studying integrative nutrition, became a yoga instructor, And really, my passion for health stems from my own health issues. I've been on this healing journey for about 4 or 5 years now, and I had a lot of gut issues, and I started really diving deep into functional mushrooms and alkalizing my body and superfoods about 4 years ago after a breakup. And that was really such a catalyst to my healing journey. And then I dove into biohacking and red light therapy and all these different things. And now I coach women to heal their body by using food as medicine and really reducing our toxin exposure with all of the food and personal care products and things in our household. And today I actually launched a parasite and liver group cleansing program. So that also goes hand in hand with like candida cleansing, heavy metal cleansing, lung cleansing. There's so many different things that we can do to optimize our health, and doing these cleanses once a year to maintain our health is really, really important, because most of Western medicine focuses on just the symptoms. And what I really value about Eastern medicine and really taking this holistic perspective and lens is that we are focused on the root cause. And it's like, what are these symptoms telling us? What is beneath all of that? So that is what I'm offering. I'm excited to see how it evolves.
Yeah, and BrainTap Nation, in the show notes, we're going to have her website and how you can get a hold of her and maybe take part in this group, Parasite Liver Cleansing, when she puts another group together. So you want to definitely check her out. She's very active on social media, and she shares very gracefully everything she's doing. And pretty much you're very active sharing what's going on. Tell us a little bit about your meditation journey and how that improved your well-being.
Yeah, so when I first started meditation, I had a lot of resistance to it. And I discovered meditation actually through when I discovered yoga about 4 or 5 years ago. And it's been such a profound tool in improving my overall well-being. And by engaging in regular meditation practices, I've experienced significant benefits to the regulation of my nervous system, taking me out of fight or flight and into rest and digest, and fostering really a deeper connection with my body. And it's really helped me shift out of the constant chatter of the mind, as we all as humans experience, and really helped me reduce my anxiety and depression and help me focus better, and really connecting to my true inner being and inner self. I really believe that when we are able to sit with ourselves, when we're able to sit in stillness and silence, that is where we can really truly hear what is happening within.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know that I saw you were wearing the BrainTap on one of your posts, and that's when I reached out and said, hey, would you mind sharing your story with BrainTap Nation? So tell us a little bit about how you incorporated BrainTap technology into your meditation routine, and what benefits have you personally experienced from using BrainTap?
Yeah, so I have been integrating BrainTap technology into my meditation routines in the evening specifically, and it's really been a game changer for me. Personally, I've noticed a substantial improvement in my overall mental clarity, in my focus, and it really, every meditation, I like wake up, or I honestly even fall asleep sometimes with the headset. It feels like I just reset myself. Like it's like a quick brain reset. And I typically incorporate it, before I go to sleep, and then sometimes in the morning as well. And I love to pair it with red light therapy as well. And I do it when I'm also feeling tired, or if I'm feeling overwhelmed. Like last night, I was feeling a little overwhelmed. I put on the BrainTap meditation, the lymphatic drainage one. And it was so interesting to hear how one voice is like in one ear, and then there's like an overarching voice, and my brain is like trying to figure out which to focus on. And I just throughout the entire process, I'm just like trusting that my subconscious mind is receiving both of the messages. But it's really interesting to observe which one that I tune into every time your voice comes in, from up here versus like to my right ear. So yeah, I feel very more relaxed and rejuvenated and alive, I would say.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's what we find. That's what we tell people. We really need to reboot the brain. We need to downregulate that. Especially, we actually have a series now that's called Overcoming Overwhelm that we
Mm.
created with a doctor out of Florida because he had a lot of his patients having overwhelm. And I said, well, let's put together a program together, and I created it with him, and it's now on the app. So that's great. So one of the things you might not know, but I know you use it this way. There's a group called Bone Frog, which is a group of Navy SEALs. And what they decided was that BrainTap became their integration tool when they do their psychedelic journeys, whether they're doing mushrooms or ME05 or whatever they're doing. They go to Mexico a lot of times and they have these 7 to 10 people, and then they have a shaman there or somebody who's a practitioner who's guiding them through the process. And then they bring BrainTap with them and they use it when they're doing that. So, and I know you've had some experiences with psychedelic experiences. So what role do you believe meditation plays in enhancing those psychedelic experiences, and how do you integrate meditation practices into your own psychedelic journeys?
Yeah, another really great question. I really feel that enhancing the psychedelic experience through meditation is the place, honestly, to start, is to drop in through a meditation and to continue, like if you're feeling overwhelmed or something, or you feel like you're out of breath for whatever reason, like anxiety or something may come up, then dropping into taking deep diaphragmatic breaths can really support someone. And obviously I can only speak for myself in really just being present and being with the body, and really cultivate a deeper sense of presence and inner awareness. And in my own psychedelic journeys, I integrate meditation practices to really ground myself and to stay present and to navigate the experience with intention and mindfulness. And I am really curious to even see how BrainTap evolves over the next 5 to 10 years, because I really believe that we need to be bringing the technology into middle school, into high school, into colleges, like universities, because the younger generation, there's so much that they're struggling with when it comes to their mental health. And these types of technologies can really, really support the younger generation as their frontal lobe and their brains continue to develop.
Yeah, I agree. We were just in India, and we have 100 schools there that have purchased 10 brain taps, and they've also bought our neural checks. So they're going to start doing, and that's just India is a big place, a lot of people, right? And so this was one province there, and that's their test. So
Wow.
here in America, we only have like 5 different schools. We have 17 universities using BrainTap right now, but we need to get it in more places. I agree, because and there's a school over there called Creative School. They actually start every day with a BrainTap session over the loudspeaker. So they're not all using the headset, because that would be 136 kids. But they play it over the loudspeakers, so they're all listening to a session, and they call it brain prep every morning to get the brain ready
Wow.
and them down, because there's isochronic tone, so they can listen to it. So I agree. I'm hoping that we can just continue that momentum. And they also use it in the back of every classroom. They actually put a brain tap. I gave a talk there. It was, and I think we posted some of it online if people want to look at it. But um, I went there and just spoke with the parents about the neurophysiology of learning, and we talked about BrainTap a little bit. But they put it in the back room because the kids have stress too, and like adults now, they have what they call escape rooms, where if you're on the job and you start to feel overwhelmed or stressed, they have a place you can go, just go quietly. And we're getting BrainTaps put in a lot of those places, but they do it in the classroom. So, and the kids will do it. It's funny because when I walk in, they all know me because they've all heard my voice. It's funny when I go there to visit them. We've been with them now for almost 6 years, so it's kind of fun to go there. And of course, they do also Tai Chi and yoga every day. And the school was founded by they were one of the first people into Microsoft. So when they retired, money wasn't an issue. They built a school that's totally grounded, open windows, live plants, natural sunlight. It's everything you could. I mean, I thought, man, if my kids were younger, I would have loved to send them to that school. I would love my grandkids to go there, but of course they're here in New Bern, so that's why I'm here. So when you think about um, you know, people, you said 4 years ago, you found out about meditation, and most people, fortunately in America, anyway, only 5% of people that find out about meditation stick with meditation. It's kind of weird, they're not finding the value, like you said. But what advice would you give an individual who are new to meditation or struggling to establish this consistent practice? And how do you think BrainTap might assist them in their journey?
Yeah. So I'm going to answer your question backwards, starting with BrainTap. I feel that BrainTap is an incredible device that can actually support someone in even starting their meditation journey and their meditation practice, because it's a technology, like we're so used to being stimulated and we're so used to our phones. So having, the app, being able to like pick and very customize. That's what I love about the app, is that you can seriously customize to like anything that you're going through, like addiction and lymphatic drainage and health and relationships. Like you guys literally have it all on the platform. So it makes it super simple and like digestible for somebody to be like, okay, if I'm having resistance right now to meditation, like I can just go on my phone, look at this app, put on this headset, and like listen, and it drops the person into the state. So I feel that BrainTap can be an incredible introduction for somebody on their meditation journey. If you're someone listening who hasn't meditated, or you feel like you don't know how, or you have resistance to it. And then for people who are struggling to even make it a practice, my advice would be to just start small and be consistent. Setting aside even just a few minutes each day for meditation can just make such a significant difference over time with your breath, with your mental health, and overall just how you feel. And the stillness creates wisdom within, and it's okay to simply sit with whatever arises during your practice. It's not about not having any thoughts. It's not about whatever society has made you believe that meditation is. It's really just about being with the present moment. And you can even do a meditation when you're walking. I mean, anything that puts you into the present moment, where you are focusing mindfully your attention on something, specifically like your breath, is meditation. And BrainTap, for example, can be a really valuable tool in supporting that journey as well through a guided meditation session. So if you're feeling resistance to sitting in silence just for 3 minutes by yourself, then BrainTap can be a really great way to introduce you into that flow. And then if you're not, then just sitting with your legs crossed and eyes closed, starting for like 2 minutes each day, writing it in your calendar. This is something that I'm committing to. This is how I'm going to love myself, a new way that I'm going to love myself. And you'll be surprised with the magic that unfolds with those few minutes of stillness each day.
No, that's great advice. When we think about, I'm amazed every time I go to India and I talk in India, they actually prescribe yoga poses for health. I mean, it's a prescription. The doctor will actually say, do this pose, and gets them through. And then they always say the most important pose in yoga is the corpse pose, or the meditation at the end of it. And a lot of people in America just seem to jump up at that point and leave. And what I found out was that's the time when you get all the neuroplasticity, because yoga was designed to keep people, to give them the energy they needed to meditate, because the body was so tired, but these yogic poses would energize and get the body going. What's your philosophy about your yogic practice? And at the end, what do you find happens?
Yeah, to me, like laying in Shavasana is really the integration, like the integration that you would get after receiving a psychedelic journey, the integration of life. I mean, that is really, for example, if you have like a 60-minute yoga flow, and then at the end, you are using those 2 to 5 minutes to really integrate the entire practice and really marinate in it. And so it's honestly, I believe, the most important part of the practice.
Yeah. So from your perspective, being a healthcare practitioner, what do you think meditation and mindfulness practices contribute to better mental health outcomes and the role they play in like stress management or emotional resilience? Because that's a big deal out there right now, right? They're saying we have this tsunami of mental health problems. What do you think the
Mhm.
role of that is?
Yeah, I really feel that as we cultivate these tools within ourselves of learning how to manage stress better, learning how to be more emotionally resilient, and learning how to have better mental health with different tools and practices, we can really drop more into the present moment awareness and learn how to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. That's the biggest thing. And we can, from that place, develop a greater resilience to life's challenges. And it's like, if I can sit with myself and my emotions in a meditation, then I can be and show up as a better and healthier, more present, aware human in the real world and in society when I go out and am in my relationships or am at work. And I really feel that these practices help us cultivate a sense of inner calm and balance and peace, which allows us to then respond to these stressors of life with greater clarity and resilience. And overall meditation and mindfulness, they really contribute to a healthier mind-body connection and support overall well-being. And most of us are walking around completely disconnected from our bodies. And we are, most of us, living in the minds. So it's so important to just really create the time and really devote the time to do nothing.
Mhm.
Is to really just sit with ourselves and do nothing. And you mentioned how to be consistent with meditation. So starting with 2 minutes, but it's said that actually I think it's like 20 to 25 minutes of meditation per day is like optimal to keep your brain waves at a healthy state, to just have your entire vessel be healthy. So yeah.
That's awesome. Now let's talk a little bit more about parasites, because a lot of people don't think we have parasites. You've probably heard that before, right? They don't think we do, and they're eating sushi and other things, but they doesn't have to be sushi, right? It can be a lot of things have parasites. Even some fruits and vegetables might have some parasites on them if they don't clean them properly and things like that. So tell us a little bit about what might cause us to need a parasite cleanse, especially our liver.
Yeah, really great question. So, well, I'll start by saying that the average person has up to 30 different types of parasites living in their body. And once they're there, they can lay eggs in our intestines and colon and organs. And then these unwanted bugs can really wreak havoc on our health. And so if you're someone who's suffering from gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, or other digestive issues, you could be experiencing symptoms of parasitic overgrowth. There is deeper testing that you can go and get done with a functional medicine practitioner to really understand the full scope. There are obviously symptoms that you can really tell that I share on my Instagram more about, where you can kind of self-diagnose, and then you can obviously go and get tested with a functional doctor to get even deeper. And parasites are also highly contagious and can be spread to other family members through contact with skin, clothing, bedding, or food. And we're all exposed to parasites. It's a part of life. It's not about not having parasites at all. It's just about keeping your body to like an equilibrium and maintaining it optimally every single year with a parasite cleanse once per year, for example. So also, particularly like raw fish is a common way to get parasites, touching people, grabbing public handrails or doorknobs, and drinking unsanitary water, exposure to schools, doctors, hospitals, like those are common sources of parasites. And it's another fun fact is that more than 60 million people in the United States are chronically infected with Toxoplasma gondii, which is the parasite that causes toxoplasmosis. And in new infections, pregnant women can lead to birth defects, and infections in those compromised with immune systems can be fatal. So again, this is not to scare anyone. This is just an empowered choice to have this new level of awareness and say, okay, how do I want to treat my body as a temple, and how can I optimize my health? And one of that way is to do parasite cleanses once a year. The liver is one of the biggest organs, and it has I think it's like over 200 or 300 functions in the body. And so it's important to also detoxify our liver. And especially with it being spring and us moving from spring and then soon into summer, it's an incredible time to do these cleanses seasonally with the seasons of the year as well. So,
yeah, people are amazed when I tell them that they're actually more something else than they are human. We're 54% other things, even our mitochondria isn't us, and that's what powers us. So, I mean, when you think about it, so we have these parasites in us and they don't really understand that some of them are working with us, but a lot of them are working against us, like you said. So, if I was to go to your website where you have the low tox holistic website that you're talking about, what am I going to learn? What am I going to learn when I head over there to learn about you, learn about this, how to get lower toxins? Because right now we're being bombarded by toxins, right? It's in our foods, it's in our water, it's in our air, it's in our paint, it's basically everywhere. I mean, you can get freaked out pretty easily if you start doing research. That's why a lot of people won't start researching it, because they get scared. But the reality is that we have a very powerful immune system, and if we keep it going. But tell us a little bit about what we'll learn when we go check out your website.
yeah, so I have a plethora of resources on my website. I created my website to give people access to the top low toxin conscious wellness brands on the market. So over the last 4 or 5 years, I've done extensive research to gather a list of basically 400 plus low toxin brands that don't contain any artificial sweeteners, gums, food dyes, and so none of the products on my website will include artificial flavors, synthetic fragrances, parabens, phthalates, citric acid, gut-disrupting gums, titanium dioxide, artificial dyes, fillers, mystery natural flavors, or artificial sweeteners. And we don't realize any of this because most of us aren't taught these things. And so a lot of even this knowledge that I've come to learn over the years has really been my own self-education of doing this research on my own, and then obviously learning from a bunch of doctors as well as toxicologists. And so I basically just compiled all of the brands that I personally consume, that I've tried and that I believe in, and to really empower people to, it's even beyond buying the product. To me, it's like, as a consumer in society, it's like funding these corporations that actually care about people's health and that are doing betterment for the planet, again, for the future generations that are going to be existing on this planet. So I'm even thinking of my children. And to me, preconception is every single day. It's like, how am I treating my body? What am I putting in and on it? That is how my child is going to come into this world when I decide to have children one day. So really, to me, prevention is the cure, and we can prevent so much illness and disease simply by the foods that we're putting in our body, the people that we surround ourselves with, the environment, like it's everything. And then also the things that we're putting on our skin, because our skin is the biggest organ. So on my website, if you're ever looking, you want to find skincare, cleaning products, like anything you could think of, it's on there. We're still adding more. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out as well, because I also do detox dives. So where you'll fill out like a Calendly form of the things that you want to improve and like swap your products to. And then we go through everything, and then I give you a personalized list of all the things that I recommend.
That's awesome. Now, when we think about just all of these things, one of the ones I want to focus on, because a lot of people think they're not eating sugar, but you said the artificial sweeteners. So many people use artificial sweeteners. Can you give us your opinion of what artificial sweeteners are doing to our body and our nervous system?
Yeah. So to me, sugar is almost like a drug. It's very addicting, and it's just wreaking havoc on our gut health. And our gut is our second brain, and our gut produces serotonin. And so if we're constantly feeding it with sugars that spike our blood sugar, which then spikes our cortisol and all of the things, and then it's reflected through the skin and all of that, then it can lead to things like diabetes. It can lead to so many other health issues. And I personally love using things like honey. Like I love honey. And then for sweets, I'll just do like a banana with peanut butter and then like organic chocolate, and I'll make like a banana peanut butter chocolate bark. And And that's really it. I've really not consumed artificial sugar or sweeteners in God knows how many years. And I've just felt so much better since then.
Right. A lot of people don't realize that their gut biome is actually causing them to have cravings. If they go that 21 days and they get the flora cleaned out in their gut, they won't have those cravings, that it's actually the bugs that are craving that sugar, so that's why all those cleanses are so important, to get those bugs in line and to get the right flora. And things like that. So that's awesome. So as we round out the podcast, I appreciate you being here, sharing your BrainTap experience and sharing all your knowledge. But what have I forgot to ask you, or what do you want to reinforce for the BrainTap listeners?
Well, so if you haven't already, there is an incredible Dave Asprey biohacking conference that's coming up that you guys really, I highly recommend going and grabbing your ticket. Dr. Porter's and the BrainTap team are going to be there. And they also have a retreat center here in North Carolina, and would love for you to speak more into that and just kind of give us details, what is the retreat center all about? What are you creating out here?
Yeah, we are going to actually be doing some retreats this summer. We're bringing out some tents and things. We don't have the buildings up yet, but we're looking to, we found somebody who does things like they do Burning Man. They come out, they set everything up, and then they're gone, and you don't see anything there when they're done. So we're going to do a couple of experiments this summer. We call it summer camp, and we're going to do some cleanses, and we're going to do some things out here just to get people doing some biohacking out in nature. Eventually, we will have my facility that I have here in New Bern is going to be moved out there, because we're going to be building out the facility. We have 6,000 square feet of biohacking equipment in my lab here that it's not really open to the public, but if you're one of our doctors or if you're a BrainTap user and you're in the area, we'll always let you come through and you can check everything out. We have everything you could think of. It's like the Dave Asprey playground. We have everything from the big red light beds to cold plunges to infrared saunas to Rife machines to whole body vibration to, of course, a lot of BrainTap stuff, and the full body vibration, like you said, you used down in Charlotte when we first got on the phone. You were talking about how you were doing the bed with the acoustics with the
Yeah.
those here. We have them built into human touch chairs, and they're very comfortable, and it's an incredible experience. I love it. I have it at my house as well, so that I can be doing it every morning. But we're big believers in the whole holistic approach. BrainTap is one thing, but we need to do more than that. We have to have the full mind body approach, and that's why I'm so big with health optimization or biohacking. And I do encourage everyone. And in the notes below, we'll make sure we put the BrainTap code so you can get a discount for going to Dave's event if you go. It's going to be in Texas this year. It's going to be great. It's always our favorite event. You get to meet anybody you've ever read their book is usually there. They're going to be there, and they're going to be walking around. You get a chance to talk to them, so it's a great thing. And we want to bring people out here. So if you're interested in doing things like going on journeys and things like that under a research kind of facility, because we do everything for research here at BrainTap. We measure their brains, we measure the nervous system, we measure their blood, we do everything before and after what we're doing, and then we like to quantify that and then put together a study. So we're always doing things. The only thing we haven't done yet, and we're doing a study right now in the UK, is with HBOT, with hyperbaric. And when we get to we don't have any room for it in our place right now, but when we get out to the facility, we're going to have hyperbaric out there too, because we've seen some incredible things that hyperbaric does, especially when you pair it with like red light therapy and methylene blue and things like that to activate the mitochondria and get the brain working. We've just seen some incredible results. So we're always trying to find that cutting edge and what can be the one health solution that people can use at home. Because if you just go to a clinic once a week, you're not really going to get it. This has got to become a lifestyle. And that's why one of the reasons we love biohacking. When we measure brains, like I'll just give two examples as we wrap up this call. We went to PrimeMed, which is all the primary care physicians. I didn't measure one person's brain that was over 30% capacity. At biohacking, I don't think we found anybody that was under 80%. And the biggest difference was the primary care physicians are in the sick care industry and the biohackers are in the healthcare industry. There's a big difference. People think they call themselves healthcare, but unfortunately they're not. When you're sick and you go to the doctor, that's not healthcare. The healthcare is preventing, like you said. We want to prevent these things, and the best solution is to never have it in the first place. And when we talk about brain health, we know the earlier you can do it, the earlier you start working on your brain, the longer it's going to last for you, the better performance it is. And they've heard me say this on this podcast many times, that there is no ancient culture on earth that kept all the wisdom of the tribe with the youngsters. They kept it with the elders. So obviously we're doing something wrong today because people are getting dementia and Alzheimer's even at 30 years old. That's way too young. When I was growing up, I don't remember my grandparents and my ancestors, if you will, they were our Iowa farmers. They all were 90 years old playing cards and they had their wits about them. They were working, it's not like, they were physically active. They were doing things. If you're going to be sedentary, every 20 minutes of sitting is like smoking a cigarette. So you've just taken 7 years off your life. But the main thing it does is it disrupts your nervous system function. We're meant to move and breathe. Number one, we cannot think of bad diet. Remember that, BrainTap Nation, you got to eat right. You can't, unless you're Saint Germain and you can alchemize sugar, like you said, into something healthy. If not, it's a toxin. Like I've heard it said many times, if it was to come on the market today, really, without all the backroom money that's happening, it would have to be a drug, because all you have to do is give it to a kid and you'll see what happens. And they say, how do I know my kid's allergic to sugar? I said, just give it to them. Observe them. I've never seen a kid yet that you don't give them, give them a juice box and then they're getting in trouble, because that's way too much sugar for them. And then number two, we got to move and breathe. If you're sitting for too long, you got to get up and move. You got to breathe, do yoga, tai chi, whatever. I mean, we actually have a device called the 60 Up that we now use for the elderly, but they also use it in sports because it rewires the brain-body connection. So we're going to see more and more of this technology out there. And then do some kind of brain fitness. Like you said, if it's not BrainTap, you need to do some kind of mindfulness, breath work, something to keep your brain active, because if you don't use it, you do lose it. So I want to thank you for your time, your energy, and your ability to share your knowledge. And we're gonna put all your links into the show notes. So if you liked what Daria had to say, please check her out online. Follow her on her Instagram. She's very amusing. She's always sharing things, and it's very entertaining. And go to her website. I'm going to encourage you all. Here at BrainTap, every quarter we do a cleanse together. So we do some kind of cleanse, just like the seasons. And we started that when I had my franchise company. We would do it with every one of our members. We said, okay, it's spring cleaning. It's time. Every season we did one cleanse, not the same cleanse every time, but we just wanted them to realize that you have to, just like you clean your house, you got to clean the inside of your body. So let's keep it clean and go there and learn a little bit more about parasites. Don't let the fear stop you. If you just because you don't think you know about it, doesn't mean it's not happening. Like you said, there might be an infestation. And a lot of people don't realize once they do these cleanses, a lot of these symptoms they're having just go away. It can be a little bit of a journey during that 5 to 7 days, we've done candida cleanses up to 5 weeks before, to try to clear out the sugar growth and what's going on in the yeast growth and all that. But you've got to do it. You do it now or you're going to do it later, kind of like the old Fram air filter commercial. You can pay us now or you can pay us later. You've got to clean the body out, get it going. So again, thank you for being a guest on the show, sharing your knowledge, your brilliance, and sharing BrainTap with the world, helping us to reach our goal of reaching 1 billion brains. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Porter. A pleasure.
Okay. So if you're watching this, which you are up to this point, please like and share this video. Get it out to your family, your friends. Let them know that there is help. And like Daria said, she helps women. If you're having a health issue and you want her to help you, please go to her website listed below. You can learn about her health coaching program. You can maybe join one of her group programs, and she will coach you through that and help you through from not knowing what you're doing now to starting to master your own life, because that's when the empowerment starts, when you start taking back the power of health, because nobody can give that to you. You got to give it to yourself. So again, like and share the video. Thank you all for listening. And right now, we're helping your brain, but remember, we're out to better a billion brains. So the more you like and share this, the more brains we can help, the better world we're going to live in, and the more prosperous we can all be. So until the next time, thank you.
Thank you for joining us on our mission to better a billion brains. Follow at Dr. Patrick Porter on social media for updates, and remember to practice brain fitness every day.